The Air Force is a critical component of any military. This is largely because of its high capacity and capability to hit targets which other formations cannot easily reach with speed and precision. The Air Force does not only provide support to other arms, but also helps to determine the nature and strategy of attacks during warfare. The ongoing war against Boko Haram terrorists could rightly be described as one of the operations in which the Nigerian Air Force has been tested. What are the challenges the force has faced over the years, and how has it tackled those challenges in the fight against terrorism? We have in our studio the Director, Public Relations and Information of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Olatokunbo Adesanya. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much, please.
When I look at your uniform, I feel like enrolling in the Air Force. So how would you describe the experience of the Air Force in the ongoing war against terrorism?
Okay, let me start by saying that the ongoing insurgency in the northeastern part of Nigeria is something that we consider particularly tragic, and every opportunity that we have, we always want to use it to commiserate with the families of those who have lost their lives in the process. That we consider as being very important. We as members of the Armed Forces and the Nigerian Air Force in particular, we sacrifice daily in order to ensure that the security of Nigerians is indeed paramount. Specifically, you know that the primary responsibility of the Nigerian Air Force is to project air power, and with respect to the ongoing counterinsurgency operations, the Nigerian Air Force has been conducting a lot of missions that we call intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions, and the aim being to gather intelligence on the adversary, and this information or intelligence, as we would call it, we pass on to the land forces to make use of, and on other occasions we make use of the intelligence ourselves, following which we conduct what we call air interdiction missions, which are aimed at striking Boko Haram hideouts, wherever they are gathering, and the rest. That we have been doing, and of course, whenever the land forces are also advancing, we always provide what we call air cover towards ensuring that they are able to do what they need to do. And of course, as part of our experience there, one of the things we also do is what we call tactical airlift within the theater of operation. Then we also do what we call logistics resupply. Logistics resupply essentially is about ensuring that all the people who are in various sectors, knowing that Sambisa is indeed a vast area, about 60,000 square kilometers, we have land forces who are deployed all over the area, so we are able to use our helicopter towards reaching them in terms of...
So you're actively involved?
Actively involved.
Oh.
Well, some people have the opinion that if the Nigerian Air Force was invited or involved more so from the inception of this war, it wouldn't have raged on for this long. Why didn't the force give a full blast at the beginning?
Now, that's one thing that I'm quite happy that I have the opportunity to speak here this morning. Unfortunately, the activities of the Nigerian Air Force in the ongoing insurgencies have been largely underreported. The Nigerian Air Force has always been involved. But one thing that I'll plead with Nigerians to understand is that the nature of asymmetric warfare, which is what this is all about, is so that it's always protracted. So globally, experience has shown that yes, you need air power in order to defeat insurgencies, but the nature of asymmetric warfare is that it is always protracted. And I can say that clearly in the past few months, years and the rest, we have made a lot of progress with regards to fighting these particular... So it's not as if the Air Force has never been involved. The Air Force has always been involved.
Okay, now looking at the status of Nigeria as a superpower in Africa, can we say that we have effectively functioned in that capacity in the area of air power?
Oh, certainly, we have done so. There is no doubt that there was a time when there was a dip in our capacity, but at the moment, the Nigerian Air Force is what I'll call experiencing what I call a new dawn. We have one of the things that's critical to an Air Force is aircraft serviceability status. within the past 2 years, and with the very active support of the federal government, the Nigerian Air Force has been able to move the serviceability of its aircraft from about 30% to about 70%. In terms of training, we've been able to localize much of our training. Recently, we had about 16 pilots that graduated from the primary flying training in Kaduna. Out of them, there were 2 females. It was the first time in about 30 years that we will have students who will be finishing while they are still cadets in the Nigerian Defense Academy.
Impressive. Well, Nigerians to next week host the Air Force of other nations. Of what benefit will the conference be to Nigeria?
Oh yes, we're talking about the 2017 African Partnership Flight. It's meant towards building strong, transparent partnerships as a way of enhancing regional stability and security through formal alliances, partnerships, and exchange of information. So certainly, the benefit is that we are going to benefit from synergizing the expertise of the United States as well as the African partner nations towards improving professional air knowledge. The theme of this year's conference is aeromedical evacuation and medical deployment. And countries that will be involved include Niger, Chad, Benin, Niger, and of course Nigeria. You will notice that some of the countries are from the Lake Chad basin, and they are participating in the ongoing counter-insurgency operation. So it will certainly help foster regional security.
Thank you very much indeed for speaking with Radio Nigeria. That was a spokesperson of the Nigeria Air Force, Air Commodore Olatokunbo Adesanya, highlighting the role of the Nigeria Air Force in fighting terrorism in the country.